Welcome to the Online Trainer Show, where we help fitness and nutrition pros take better care of their clients and build profitable businesses. I'm Jonathan Goodman, and as always, I'm joined by Amber Reynolds. We're happy you're here. Let's start the show. I love how you wave every time the intro.
I do. I get excited when I hear my name.
So I have one single note that I wrote down. Usually I'll write down like a whole bunch of notes, right, of stories I want to tell or points I want to make or whatever it is. I have one note for this topic. Why would anybody want to work with me?
It's a heck of a note.
Versus another big name coach. It's 3 words.
Oh,
now,
God.
To be fair, one of those words has a sky comma, so it's actually 2 words that's just connected.
What's a sky comma?
Sky comma, an apostrophe, sky comma.
Oh! Okay, this is some Canadian bullshit stuff.
No, it's a sky comma. I'm surprised you don't know that. How else do you conjoin 2 words?
Apostrophe.
You do it with sky comma. Can I tell you what those 3 words were?
I mean, please, I'm interested to see how the sky comma works out.
The 3 words are because you're special.
Are we talking about special or special?
Because you're special. You're unique. There's one of you.
There you go. This is true.
And thank you. Thank you for that. And we, myself included, often forget just how important that point is, and just how special we are, and how unique we are, and how appealing we are. We think because we see ourselves and we overthink ourselves and overanalyze about ourselves that there couldn't possibly be anything about me that's unique or worth buying. And this is an existential problem of humans, not you, not me, all of us together. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it not because I have a solution for it. I suffer from it too. Why? Like, whenever I talk about little stuff that I do in my life, for example, about how I have some rules to live by, where they're black and white rules. I mean, rules that Allison and I make to be able to navigate our relationship better, or call it lifestyle design type rules. I refuse to own a business that's more than a 15-minute bike ride from my house. Because one of the things that I've identified over the course of my life is that if I can avoid commuting and getting in the car every single day, I will be a much happier, healthier, clearer-minded person. And so whenever I share, to me, there's just nothing to it. Like, this is just what we do. It's not interesting. Right? Why would anybody, follow me on social media. Like, I don't post a lot because, why? What I do, it's not interesting. But every time I post something about what I do, people seem to be really interested. Well, the same thing for you. The same thing to anybody listening here. Amber, so much of what you do is so special. So much of what you do with Nate, so much of what you're building at your house. You built a freaking, what's the thing called where you hang and swing?
Zip line?
You built a zip line in your front yard. What?
Because we're just that obnoxious here.
What the heck? But, it's fun, but to you, it's just like something that you do. Like, you're just like building stuff for your house, right? So the answer of why would anybody work with me versus another big name coach is actually quite simple at its core. It's because you're special and what you do is special. And it's very important for you to recognize that. There's a lot of ways that you've figured out how to navigate this messy, sometimes very difficult life and work, and you've been able to overcome that and figure out a way on top of all of those things to be able to navigate healthy nutrition and keep your mind sharp and keep your body strong. And that's pretty incredible. Look at obesity rates. Look at activity rates. Look at what percentage of people in your town, in your country, are even remotely active. It's because life is really hard. And adding something else that is by definition hard onto an already hard life is really difficult. So how you do that, how you're able to do that, your priorities, by saying yes to your fitness and your nutrition, you are by definition saying no to other things that are probably temptations. Well, are you sharing that? Because the more detailed that you can share that, the more people who share those same things and are having trouble overcoming them will feel connected to you and will choose you over somebody they've never met that just happens to be famous because, pick or choose your reason, they got lucky, they bought a whole bunch of followers, they look really good naturally, they grew up in a place where, you know, they knew some people who were famous, they had a bunch of money, they, whatever the reason, right? They just happen to be well known, right? And they might be good, right? That's not, none of this is saying that they're not good, but if they're a big name coach, they are not going to be able to connect with people personally in a special way like you can. It's as simple as that. You actually have a huge advantage over them, while you're, you know, smaller than they are, I guess.
A point that I'll make from a less kumbaya kind of position. Think about all of the clients that you've worked with and the ones that have done well, and probably to some extent you have thoughts around, well, I didn't do much. I was just there to support them, and it was easy. There wasn't anything special about what I did, but chances are, they did well, and they probably said, what a big difference you made, and you didn't really internalize that. And what I find interesting is that by accident, we call them liars, right? And so do you not trust, the people that tell you these things, right? And so we have to learn how to internalize these compliments. But for me, like when someone compliments me, my initial thought is like, oh, well, like to brush it off, like it makes me uncomfortable. But when I think about it, like, do I not trust this person that just told me this really great thing? Am I calling them a liar because I don't want to believe them? And so when I've kind of reframed that thought process, I was like, no, I do trust them when they say these things. And so what I would suggest is kind of think back to the clients that you've worked with and the positive things that you have heard, and try to take those in, because those are the reasons that people want to work with you. And like Jon said, logistically, big name coaches simply can't connect on a more personal level like we can. And we're just more kind of quote unquote human because we are a little bit more approachable and are able to share kind of on a more relatable level, I guess.
Talk to me, a point you made. I mean, that's fascinating, Amber. I love that you brought all that up. Talk to me a little bit more about the concept of internalizing this, because it's something that when you said it, it was something I hadn't really thought about, but I immediately wanted to know more about.
So when, I don't know if guys are told this, but like with girls growing up, like we get compliments and we're like, oh, like we make an excuse. Oh, I love your dress. Oh, well, I bought it for like, $5 at TJ Maxx. Like we find a way to push off the compliment. And so like for me, my mom always growing up, like, no, just say thank you. Like stop trying to make an excuse. Like just say thank you. And eventually I did that enough that like I stopped like trying to make excuses for the good things that I've done or are doing or that I am. And that helped me internalize those things. And so I started to believe it more. And another thing that I do that I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was a meme or something, but I thought was absolutely brilliant. So for people that are like, what's it called when you kind of like joke on yourself, self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating.
Yes, that, but doing the opposite, So like
Okay.
instead of being self-deprecating, it's like, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, because obviously I'm fantastic.
Right.
Like just going the other end of the spectrum and doing that on purpose. And so I do that too. So even though I'm quote unquote joking, I've told myself these things often enough. I'm like, yeah, am pretty freaking awesome. You know, like I said it enough that I started believing it. And so it's just kind of an exposure therapy kind of thing. So that's kind of where the internalizing stuff comes from for me.
I like that. I mean, you are pretty awesome, first off. But I like the idea of almost like figuring out a way, however that is, to give yourself a compliment and like excusing it almost as a joke. But like you're actually giving yourself a compliment, and it's powerful, and the words matter, and it makes you realize like, oh, that's actually pretty amazing what I just did there. Like you get up and you get your butt up and you go to the gym, or you get some work done, or you have a great time. Like this morning, Allison and I just like worked off each other great in the kitchen, getting Calvin up and out. Like it was just, she started the eggs, she went and did something else. I just kept doing, you know, I just picked up the eggs, then I went and did, she picked it up. Like it was just like one of those where we're almost just like weaving in. And all that I could think was like, that was pretty cool, because Calvin just started going to school. And that we're able now to navigate the mornings like this. It's like, it's pretty cool. Like, but to be able to almost make a big joke out of it, be like, baby, we're rocking this, and like give each other a big high five.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
As a way to almost give yourself permission to see how cool it is, and that it's perhaps notable, without having to be serious about it.
And celebrating even like stupid stuff, like, oh man, I totally didn't screw up that call, or I didn't stutter, you know, that during that one, or, you know, I said a lot less during that podcast, or, you know, like whatever, right? Like finding little ways to celebrate, even if it's kind of tongue in cheek, like eventually your brain starts to believe it after a while. So it's the whole kind of fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah, so I guess this is kind of one of those like Eat, Pray, Love episodes, right? Where it's like we don't actually tell you, it's like, you know, The Secret or you know, Law of Attraction. It's like we don't actually give you anything useful in any way, shape, or form, but we try to get you thinking the right way.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't need to speak. I don't need to say negative stuff about Law of
But
Attraction.
when you say things, it's magical, John. Positive.
You know, all you got to do is manifest riches, and all of a sudden, somehow, somebody brings you a bag of money.
Manifest is one of those words that makes me wildly uncomfortable. I don't know why, but it grosses me out to no end.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
maybe
shouldn't tell you that because you're going to drop it every chance you get now. But...
all opportunities. You told me that whenever somebody ends a conversation using
Oh,
K,
I trust me. I've noticed. Trust me.
I use it
Internally cringe every time.
all the time now. But I think that this is I think that we still, you know, said what we needed to on this topic. We could have easily defaulted into going the tactful ways of, here's exactly how you get people to pay attention to you right now using the algorithm, whatever, right? Like, but I kind of always want to default to stuff that is always going to serve you no matter what is around, and teach you, like, help you figure out how to become more of you. And that sounds so hippy dippy, you know, eat, pray, lovey, you know, I'm going to look in the mirror and tell myself that I love myself and I'm worthy. But like, there's kind of something to that stuff sometimes, because every single person is unique from one another. There's nothing, obviously, but it's really hard to see that when we're living in our own lives, especially now. We're seeing other people so much less, which means we're analyzing ourselves so much more. And as a result, it can become really, really hard to just sit down and be like, nah, like, it's actually pretty special that I was able to, you know, as a single mom with a child just starting school, with a full-time job, with a whole bunch of other pressures, Amber, that I don't even know you have that show up in your life, that you're still able to show up and be brilliant on this podcast and be amazing for our students and keep getting your workouts in most of the time. And then on top of that, build super cool shit in your yard for your kids to play on and for you to play on. Like that's pretty rad, you know? But all of those things, it's just like in a day for you.
Yeah, it's that idea of unconscious competency, right? But like on a real life level versus on a business level. Just the things that seem normal to us seem extraordinary to someone else.
Yeah.
I have a piece of homework for everyone that I just thought about that I think will be good.
This is fancy.
I know, and this would be a good way to put this into practice. So email me, or you can tag us on our social media if you're good with that, Jon.
Tag Amber.
Tag me. Yeah.
Tag Amber.
You can always tag me in anything.
I don't. The only problem is I'm fine if you tag me, but you cannot get upset if I don't respond.
Well, I was thinking the PTDC because we have someone that does it.
PTDC. There are weeks on end where like I don't log in, and so
we know your feelings on Instagram.
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
so here's the homework. Is I want you to either email me or to tag me or at theptdc.com the reason why someone would choose to work with you over a big name. And I want to collect these because I think this could be really interesting. So email me, Amber at theptdc.com, or you can tag at the PTDC, or you can hunt me down on Facebook and tag me there as well.
Yeah, put out an Instagram post. Like, celebrate yourself. Put out an Instagram post and be like, here's why I'm special. Like, honestly, like, how cool is that? You're going to be like, here's why I'm special, and talk about the one thing you're special. And all these people you haven't heard from for forever trying to put out the same copycat content as everybody else, all of a sudden is going to show up and be like, oh my God, you're so awesome. And you're going to feel great. And now these are all people who, like, you might even get some inquiries from this, and then tag Amber in it and the PTDC in it so that we can see it.
Yeah, so we can do it too. Yeah, we want to celebrate you guys too. So
what a good idea! Look
I
at
know.
this.
I have those occasionally.
This is a.
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started on baseball. I'm so sad. I'm so sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you a Toronto Blue Jays fan?
No.
Well,
both the Yankees and Cardinals are out.
Well, first of all, screw the Yankees. They don't ever deserve to win anything ever.
Hey, Mariano was a treasure, okay?
Sure, Mariano was a treasure 10 years ago, dude.
No, I cried when he retired.
No, that's fine. But the reality of it is, anybody who's a Yankees baseball fan, I immediately discredit all of their opinions on everything. Like Cardinals is fine. Cardinals is fine. Toronto Blue Jays could have the MVP and the Cy Young winner, have 4 guys over 100 RBIs, have a better run differential than something like 6 out of the 8 teams that made the playoffs and missed the playoffs by half a game because they had to play the first third of their season, the first half of their season, in a tiny stadium in Buffalo and like live out of hotel rooms when everybody else could. Like, it's just the Toronto Blue Jays this year could have easily won it all if, like, they just got into the playoffs. Like, they were easily the hottest team and the most dangerous team going into it. So don't talk to me about who cares about the Yankees.
But you do get bonus points for knowing all of that. So like, I'll give you that.
Like, ooh, I'm just going to spend $100 million in luxury tax and just buy my team every single year so that we're never bad because we don't care. We have so much money, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just the Yankees are just dumb. They're just stupid. Anybody who likes them doesn't understand or appreciate the sport. Like, that's all I got to say about that. If you like the Yankees, tag me.
Tag me and the Cardinals.
Okay. All right.
We're going to have some tags. All right.
20 minutes. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.
That's good. See ya.